Oh, faithfully conveying value and interpreting great books from around the world. Hi, this is Sally talking books. Today, I'm going to talk about the book titled Political Power and Family Networks in the Wei Jin Transition Period. The author, Q Lumong, is an associate professor in the history department at Fudan University, dedicated to researching the history of the Three Kingdoms and the Wei, Jin, Southern, and Northern dynasties. Oh, at first glance, this book's title seems way too academic. If I were to rename it, it should be called Sima Yi's Comeback Story, because its main content is the rise of the Sima family. As you know, from the end of the Eastern Han to the Three Kingdoms era, the historical sky is dazzlingly brilliant. Figures like Cao Cao, Guojia, Liu Bei, Zhuge Liang, Sun Quan, Zhou Yu are like shining stars that grab everyone's attention. Compared to them, whether in governance skills, military talents, or legendary and mysterious qualities, Sima Yi doesn't stand out. However, when the dust settled, it was actually the Western Jin Dynasty, founded by Sima Yi's descendants, that unified the realm. This is really intriguing. How did the Sima family, which was initially low profile, make a comeback to become life's winners? The book I'm introducing today precisely solves this mystery. According to historical records, in 1799 AD, Sima Yi was born in Henei Commandery, Wen County. The area of Henei Commandery corresponds to today's Jiaozhuo and Anyang in northern Henan province. In the Han Dynasty's geographical layout, it was located north of the Yellow River and south of the Taihang Mountains, right at the center of the realm, with crucial strategic importance. Emperor Guangwu of Han, Liu Shi, used Henei Commandery as a base to build strength, and then conquered the realm, establishing the Eastern Han dynasty. Due to frequent wars, Henei Commandery had a fierce folk custom, with local strongmen dominant, and valuing martial prowess was a distinctive trait. In fact, the rise of the Sima family was also inseparable from martial force. Sima Yi's great-grandfather, Sima Jun, participated in military campaigns in the Northwest multiple times during Emperor An's reign of the Eastern Han, accumulated military merits, and became the general who conquers the West. Sima Yi's great-grandfather, Sima Liang, served as the prefect of Yushan, which is today's local governor of Nanchang, Jiangxi. It was these two who laid the groundwork for the Sima family's expansion. By the generation of Sima Yi's grandfather, Sima Jun, the Sima family had become a major clan in Henei Commandery. Big family as it was, the Sima family's influence remained confined to the local area. As the book's author, Q Lumen says, until the mid-Eastern Han dynasty, the Sima family was merely a local powerful clan. In their hometown, they had sway, but in Luoyang, the imperial capital, they were insignificant. Well, mainly because, as a military family, the Sima clan didn't have a tradition of studying Confucianism. And in the Eastern Han dynasty, without mastering Confucianism, it was tough to gain nationwide influence. Why is Confucianism so important? This is related to Emperor Wu of Han. Back then, Emperor Wu of Han proposed to dismiss all other schools of thought and exclusively honor Confucianism. Right. From then on, mastering Confucianism became a crucial criterion for selecting civil officials in the Han Empire. Over time, this led to the rise of powerful aristocratic families dedicated to Confucianism. So-called aristocratic families mean that someone relies on Confucianism to gain high positions, wealth, and entry into the central government. Finally, he'd use the resources he acquired to nurture his descendants, helping them inherit his positions and connections. After 2 or 3 generations, they'd become an aristocratic family. By the middle and late Eastern Han period, the main government positions were basically monopolized by a few powerful aristocratic families. Well-known examples include the Yuan family of Runan, the Yang family of Hongong, and the Sun family of Yingchuan, with the Yuan family of Runan being the most typical. Yuan Shao from the late Eastern Han came from this Yuan family. They were called four generations of top officials, meaning for four straight generations, they held the highest posts in the Eastern Han dynasty, accumulating immense power and networks. In the late Eastern Han, when the realm was in chaos, Yuan Shao could rise swiftly and carve out his own territory thanks to his family's huge influence. The Sima family recognized the importance of Confucianism early on. Starting with Sima Yi's grandfather, Sima Jun, they made a key decision to value culture over martial prowess, aiming to cleanse their warrior identity and transform into Confucian scholars. According to the records of the Three Kingdoms, Sima Jun himself adored Confucianism and could recite entire biographies of famous ministers from the Book of Han. The Book of Han was compiled from a Confucian viewpoint, showing Sima Jun used Confucian standards to educate his children. Sima Jun's son, Sima Fang, wouldn't dare sit if his father didn't permit it, and wouldn't speak if his father didn't ask. As an adult, Sima Fang focused intensely on dignity, maintaining a Confucian scholar's demeanor. Sima Fang had 8 sons, and Sima Yi was his second son. Sima Yi was well-versed in Confucian classics from childhood, and his younger brother, Sima Fu, was an even more devoted Confucian follower. It can be said that by Sima Yi's generation, the Sima family had transformed from a military clan into a Confucian household, enjoying high prestige in their hometown of Hanai Commandery. Of course, even with their transformation efforts, the Sima family still had shallow roots and wasn't on the same level as the Yuan family of Runan. But who could have guessed that? From the late Eastern Han onward, in just a few decades, the Yuan family of Runan, represented by Yuan Shao's faction, collapsed, while the Sima family surprisingly rose step by step and founded the Western Jin Dynasty. Oh, the course of history is truly unbelievable. So, how did the Sima family manage to pull off this comeback? The key figure here is Sima Yi. In 2008 AD, at 29 years old, Sima Yi joined Cao Cao's political group and officially stepped onto the political stage. From then on until his death, Sima Yi lived through 4 eras: Cao Cao, Cao Pi, Cao Rui, and Cao Feng, becoming a senior statesman of the Cao Wei regime. It was his deep cultivation that brought breakthrough progress to the Sima family's social status. Sima Yi's personal development can be divided into 3 stages. The Cao Cao era was the first stage, where Sima Yi began to make a name for himself and initially built his interpersonal network. Not the Cao Pi and Cao Rui era was the second stage, a critical period for Sima Yi's rise. During this time, he accumulated military merits, expanded and consolidated his network, becoming a representative of the meritorious group. The Cao Fang era was the third stage, marked by the Gaiping Tombs incident. With Sima Yi's rise, the Cao Wei court saw the Sima family monopolizing power, laying the foundation for his descendants to establish the Western Jin Dynasty. Next, I'll talk about the first stage, namely Sima Yi's emergence. After joining Cao Cao's camp, Sima Yi served as the literary attendant to the chancellor, responsible for drafting documents and managing files for Cao Cao. Sima Yi was able to obtain this position. The driving force behind this was Cao Cao's important strategist. Historical records show that Shun Yu admired Sima Yi's talents. So after Cao Cao became chancellor, he recommended Sima Yi to be Cao Cao's advisor. Shun Yu's move was of great significance to the Sima family. First, Shun Yu represented the Sun family of Yingchuan. As mentioned before, the Sun family of Yingchuan was a powerful aristocratic clan, and the social resources and networks he possessed were unmatched by the Sima family. Second, The literary attendant to the chancellor was a secretarial officer. Although the position wasn't high-ranking, Sima Yi joined Cao Cao's camp at an opportune time. At this time, Cao Cao had already controlled Emperor Xian of Han, using his position as chancellor to command the feudal lords by holding the emperor hostage. 8 years later, Cao Cao was in Fefid as the king of Wei, reaching the peak of his political career. The personnel around Cao Cao were essentially the core of the Eastern Han court. Resources and talents were all under their control. Sima Yi's joining was equivalent to gaining a foothold in the central government. With this grand entrance, how will Sima Yi seize the opportunity? Oh, he used two key tools. One was building a network of connections, and the other was his outstanding personal abilities. First, let's look at building the network. To start, Sima Yi began by befriending colleagues in the chancellor's office. For instance, Yang Jun once served as the prefect of Nanyang with rich political experience and was a key advisor to Cao Cao. More importantly, Yang Jun was also from Henei, and he'd met Sima Yi when Sima was a teenager, leaving a strong impression. Another example is Kui Yan, who was also in Cao Cao's staff. Kui Yan hailed from the Kui clan of Qinghe, a renowned noble family with an excellent reputation. Both he and Yang Jun admired Sima Yi and often praised him publicly and privately. Sima Yi's reputation spread wider in high political circles and elite society, finally catching Cao Cao's attention. After over 10 years in the chancellor's office, in 2019 AD, Cao Cao assigned Sima Yi to assist Crown Prince Cao Pi of Wei, giving him a chance to expand his network beyond the office. At that time, Cao Pi was surrounded by many advisors, and Sima Yi got along well with all of them. Most notably, he formed a friendship with Chen Kun. Like Shun Yu, Chen Kun also came from Bingchuan. His family, the Chen clan of Yingchuan, was as famous as the Shun clan of Yingchuan, and Chen Kun himself married Shun Yu's daughter. It can be said that the Chen and Sun families had close political and social ties. As for Sima Yi, he first got Shun Yu's recommendation and later married into the Shun family, meaning he was accepted by both great clans. Of course, the main reason Sima Yi gained so much admiration was his personal ability. Not long after Cao Pi ascended the throne, Sima Yi was transferred by Cao Cao to serve as military Sima. This position was like a modern staff officer, specializing in advising the commander. In the role of military Sima, Sima Yi demonstrated exceptional judgment. At that time, Liu Bei's general Guan Yu occupied Jinzhou, posing a serious threat to Cao Wei's Xianyang-Fancheng region. Sima Yi analyzed the situation and believed the Cao Wei generals in Xingfan had mediocre talent and lax defenses, making them vulnerable if attacked. Sure enough, in 219 AD, Guan Yu attacked Shenyang and Fancheng, achieving a major victory by flooding 7 armies. The famous general Pan De was killed. Yu Jin was captured and surrendered, leaving only Cao Ren trapped defending Fancheng. The Shangfan battle shook the realm, even making Cao Cao consider moving the capital from Suchang to distance from the front. And at this point, Sima Yi stepped forward, arguing that although Shangfan caused heavy losses, it didn't damage their core strength, and moving the capital would instead shake morale. Now, Guan Yu's momentum is strong. Better to wait patiently and see how things unfold. Cao Cao took this advice, and things turned out just as Sima Yi predicted. As Sima Yi expected, Eastern Wu exploited Guan Yu's weak rear defense, launched a surprise attack on Jingzhou, captured it, and Guan Yu was ultimately defeated and killed. From this, Sima Yi's rise in Cao Wei wasn't just about networking. His exceptional personal skills were key. Serving as military Sima near Cao Cao unexpectedly gave Sima Yi a chance to earn credit. In 220 AD, Cao Cao passed away in Luoyang, and Sima Yi took charge of the funeral arrangements. He handled it calmly and arranged everything perfectly. Cao Cao's coffin was personally escorted by Sima Yi to Ye City, now Handan, for burial. Through this, Sima Yi's composed nature and capable handling made Cao Pi see him in a new light. After becoming king of Wei, Cao Pi promoted Sima Yi to chief secretary, like the chancellor's top aide. This role was crucial in Cao Wei's government. The king of Wei consulted the chief secretary on all major decisions. This marked Sima Yi's entry into Cao Wei's inner circle, kicking off the second stage of his career, a crucial rise period. Oh, when luck strikes, nothing can stop it. Not long after becoming chief secretary, Sima Yi got another golden chance. After becoming king of Wei, Cao Pi quickly forced Emperor Xian of Han to abdicate in 2020 AD, replacing Han with Wei, and declared himself Emperor Wen of Wei. In this, Sima Yi was active, leading petitions urging Cao Pi to take the throne, helping his smooth rise. For his role in the ascension, he rose steadily, becoming right vice director of the Secretariat, handling state secrets and general who pacifies the army. Under Cao Pi, Sima Yi worked hard and diligently, and Cao Pi's trust in him increased. When Cao Pi campaigned against Eastern Wu, Sima Yi stayed in Sudu to guard the capital. Cao Pi likened him to Xiao He of the Han Dynasty, hoping he'd stabilize the rear and supply the front, like Xiao He did for Liu Bang. In 226 AD, before dying, Cao Pi appointed 4 regents to assist his son Cao Rui. They were Chen Qin, Sima Yi, Cao Shu, and Cao Zhen. This arrangement placed Sima Yi directly into Emperor Ming of Wei, Cao Rui's inner circle. In this circle, Sima Yi thrived because he had connections with everyone there. Chen Kun, as mentioned earlier, came from the Chen clan of Yingchuan and was Sima Yi's friend. Cao Zhen was Sima Yi's in-law. Even more advantageously, between 226 and 2026, in just 10 years, 3 of the 4 regents died, leaving only Sima Yi, with Cao Zhen's death being particularly crucial. This created a tremendous opportunity for Sima Yi. During Cao Pi's era, Cao Zhen controlled military power, and Cao Rui continued to rely on him after taking the throne. At that time, Zhu Zhiliang actively organized northern expeditions, posing a major threat to Wei. Cao Zhen, as Grand General, guarded Shanxi's Guanzhong region against Shu Han, famously commanding Zhang He in the Battle of Jieting. It can be said that among Cao Wei's imperial plan, Cao Zhen had the most outstanding military talent and was Cao Rui's mainstay. His death left Cao Rui perplexed. Who could guard Guanzhong against Shu Han's attacks? After much thought, he could only choose Sima Yi, reasoning that Sima had experience fighting Shu Han. Years earlier, when Xinjiang prefect Meng Da secretly plotted rebellion with Zhu Zhiliang, Sima Yi got wind of it, acted decisively to capture Meng Da, and easily quelled the revolt. In 231 AD, Cao Rui sent Sima Yi to Shanxi to oversee military affairs in the northwest, specifically to counter Zhuge Liang, an extraordinarily significant move. Since Cao Cao's time, Cao Wei had zealously guarded military power, entrusting armies only to Cao or Xiaohu clan members. Sima Yi's independent command was unprecedented. He fully leveraged this opportunity, cultivating Guanzhong as his power base. Later, when the Sima clan overthrew Cao Wei, no matter how other regions resisted, Guanzhong remained stable, securing Sima's rear. Under Sima Yi's defense, the northwest stood firm as Mount Tai. As known, Zhuge Liang launched 6 northern expeditions. The last 3 were all blocked by Sima Yi. Sima Yi's strategy was simple: hold defenses, deplete Shu Han's strength, and force retreat. Wei and Shu remained locked in stalemate until 234 AD, when Zhuge Liang died at Wuzhang Plains. It could be said Sima Yi outlasted Zhu Zhiliang. After this, Cao Rui transferred Sima Yi to Liaodong to suppress local separatists. This time, Sima Yi demonstrated he wasn't just defensive, he excelled at offense too. Oh, in less than a year, he completely pacified Liaodong. Outlasting Zhu Liang and pacifying Liaodong made everyone in Cao Rui's regime recognize Sima Yi's abilities. Cao Rui also trusted him deeply, and Sima Yi had become the most central figure in the Cao Wei regime. However, the author of this book believes that even at this point, Sima Yi's power was still limited. The Sima clan replacing the Cao clan was still far off because Emperor Ming of Wei, Cao Rui, though over 20 years younger than Sima Yi, was highly skilled and capable. In the later part of his reign, he began to plan to weaken Sima Yi's power and appoint more members of the Cao clan. If Cao Rui had lived long, it's certain that Sima Yi would have had to obediently remain a subject. However, it seemed like heaven was giving the Sima family a boost. In 2039 AD, Cao Rui, only in his 30s, unexpectedly passed away before Sima Yi, who was 60. Thus, Sima Yi entered the third stage of his political career, which was establishing the Sima clan's monopoly of power. On his deathbed, Cao Rui made an arrangement appointing Sima Yi and Cao Shuang to jointly assist in governance. Cao Rui's original idea was for Sima Yi to represent the meritorious group and Cao Shuang to represent the Cao Wei imperial clan, with both sides cooperating and checking each other to achieve political balance, thus ensuring the long-term stability of the Cao Wei regime. But Cao Rui overlooked one thing. Sima Yi was no longer the same as before. From joining the Cao Wei regime in 2008 to Cao Rui's death in 2029, Sima Yi had built up a network of connections over 30 years. Within the Cao Wei regime, he had deep roots and many supporters. Sima Yi's network consisted of two main parts. One was consolidating and expanding on the existing base. As mentioned earlier, in the first stage of his career, the Sun clan of Yingchuan and the Qin clan of Yingchuan both supported Sima Yi. During the eras of Cao Pi and Cao Rui, this support continued. At the same time, Sima Yi worked hard to establish connections with other powerful families, primarily through marriage alliances. First, Sima Yi married his eldest son, Sima Shang's daughter. Through campaigns north and south, the Cao and Xiaohu families formed a solid alliance, almost like one family. Cao was beloved general Xiaohu Yuan, was an outstanding representative, and Xiaohu Shang, who married into the Sima family, was Xiaohu Yuan's nephew, with a close relationship to Emperor Wen of Wei, Cao Pi. Since childhood, the two were good friends. Yi Shang's wife was Grand General Cao Zhen's sister. So one Yi Shang connected Cao Wei's most powerful figures. Sima Yi's arrangement of this marriage for his son was truly a masterstroke. So much for managing political connections. Now let's look at another part. This was Sima Yi's new frontier. After decades campaigning north and south, Sima Yi promoted countless generals through his hard-earned merits. Sima Yi deliberately used this to win loyalty and build his power base. For example, Deng Ai, who excelled in conquering Shu, and Wang Ji, who suppressed Huainan rebellions, both were personally promoted by Sima Yi. Liu Yu, commander of Western Jin's campaign against Eastern Wu, even became his son-in-law. These men, plus veteran ministers who helped found Cao Wei, formed the meritorious faction. Sima Yi led this faction, while Cao Shuang was just a rookie with little experience. Neither aristocratic families nor the meritorious faction respected him. Cao Rui hoped Cao Shuang, representing the imperial clan, would balance Sima Yi's meritorious faction. But realistically, Cao Shuang couldn't match Sima Yi in ability or experience. This setup required an emperor with superb political skills. The problem? Successor Cao Fang was only 8, completely incapable. Sure enough, Sima Yi and Cao Shuang's conflict intensified, shattering the fragile balance. The tipping point was the Gaping Tombs incident, starting with Cao Shuang's actions. After becoming regent, Cao Shuang sidelined Sima Yi by petitioning Cao Fang to appoint him Grand Tutor. The Grand Tutor role was ceremonial, respected but powerless. Clearly, Cao Shuang was stripping Sima Yi's authority. Simultaneously, Cao Shuang made two key changes. First, he replaced all Imperial Guard commanders with Cao clan members, purging Sima's allies. Second, he reshuffled Guanzhong's military leadership, replacing Sima Yi with Cao relatives. Sima Yi was reassigned to defend against Eastern Wu in the southeast. Facing Cao Shuang's power grab, how did Sima Yi respond? He chose endurance, quietly withdrawing from the center. Beyond resisting Eastern Wu, he mostly feigned illness. The turning point came in 243 AD. That year, the key Imperial Guard position of Central Protector opened, possibly to placate the Sima family. Oh, Cao Shuang appointed Sima Yi's eldest son, Sima Shi, as Central Protector, commanding part of the Imperial Guard, letting the Sima family regain a crucial foothold. With this card in hand, Sima Yi started plotting his counterattack. The opportunity had finally come. In 259 AD, Grand General Cao Shuang took Emperor Cao Fang out of Luoyang to worship at Emperor Ming of Wei's tomb at Daiping Tombs. Sima Yi exploited Luoyang's emptiness to launch a coup, known historically as the Gaoping Tombs incident. Sima Yi executed Cao Shuang and took control of the Cao Wei regime. Why was Sima Yi able to win? Summing up, there were two reasons. First, having an armed force, the Central Protector with Sima Shi's Imperial Guard, allowing Sima Yi to swiftly seize Cao Wei's central institutions, achieving a big win with small resources. Second, Sima Yi fully leveraged his network. Simply put, he gained support from the meritorious faction and aristocratic families. Oh, the Zun clan of Yingchuan, the Chen clan, and some senior ministers all approved of the Gaoping Tombs incident. Why? Because they long resented Cao Shuang. Cao Shuang marginalized them. Sima Yi essentially overturned Cao Rui's posthumous plan, leading to imperial clan dominance. This was something neither the meritorious faction nor aristocratic families wanted to see. They believed Cao Shuang's power expansion threatened imperial authority and harmed their interests. So they backed Sima Yi, comparing it to Han Dynasty history. After Emperor Gaozu of Han, Liu Bang, died, Empress Liu monopolized power with the Liu clan, controlling the court. After her death, veteran ministers Zhou Bo and Chen Ping launched a coup to eliminate the Liu clan, returning power to the Liu family. To the meritorious faction and aristocratic families, the Gaoping Tombs incident was just like that. After the coup, it should have returned to balanced coexistence between meritorious and imperial clans, but they didn't expect history's script to change. Once in power, Sima Yi ignored public opinion, killed Cao Shuang, purged his followers, severely weakening the imperial clan so it couldn't function anymore. Meanwhile, Sima Yi controlled central institutions and the imperial guard, holding decision-making power, then placed Sima family members in key roles to secure national military and political authority. Reducing the emperor to a figurehead this way, imperial clan monopoly became Sima clan monopoly. But until his death, Sima Yi never replaced Cao Wei because popular sentiment favored the Cao clan. Court officials all saw them as the rightful rulers. Even though Sima Yi had a network strong enough to overthrow the dynasty, he still lacked the righteous name to become emperor as a powerful minister. This task would be completed by Sima Yi's descendants. In 251 AD, Sima Yi passed away at the age of 73. His eldest son, Sima Shi, became Grand General and the new head of the Sima family. From that year on, the Sima family's pace to replace the Cao Wei imperial plan accelerated. with Sima Shi inheriting his father's network. But this network wouldn't automatically support him becoming emperor, because most members still saw themselves as Cao Wei subjects. They'd accept Sima dominance, but not replacing the Cao clan. And how to solve this problem? His approach was to select talents and appoint officials. Since important Cao Wei positions were in Sima Shi's hands, he fully exploited this advantage, using the rich political resource to distribute offices to descendants of meritorious officials and aristocratic families. Their fathers might still feel deep gratitude to Cao Wei, but for their generation, since Sima Shi gave them the jobs, their loyalty gradually shifted. The classic example is Jia Chong. His father, Jia Kui, was inspector of Yuzhou, fiercely loyal to the Cao clan and a key member of the meritorious faction. Jia Chong, though, was personally promoted by Sima Shi, becoming his confidant. He made outstanding contributions in the Sima family's conquest of the realm, and Sima Shi's moves to win hearts provoked a backlash from the Cao clan. In 254 AD, Cao Wei's supporters Li Feng, the secretariat director, and Xiao Husuang, the minister of ceremonies, conspired with the imperial clan to plot a coup. Sima Shi got wind early and exterminated all participants' clans. Afterward, he deposed Cao Fang and enthroned Cao Mao, the Duke of Gaogui, as emperor. In Chinese history, ministers deposing and enthroning emperors often signaled an impending dynasty change. So this move meant the Sima family had gained approval from the meritorious faction and aristocratic families, ready to replace Cao Wei. However, an accident delayed the Sima family's rise to the top. After Cao Fang was deposed, Huainan generals rebelled. Sima Shi personally led troops to crush it, but he fell ill and died on the way back. In 255 AD, Sima Yi's second son and Sima Shi's younger brother Sima Zhao became Grand General, taking over the Sima family. Compared to Sima Yi and Sima Shi, Sima Zhao had both advantages and weaknesses. His advantage was a paved path. He became Grand General smoothly. But his weakness was lack of experience, low prestige, and personal insecurity. Then something happened that further damaged Sima Zhao's reputation. The Cao clan deeply resented Sima's monopoly of power. The newly enthroned Emperor Cao Mao knew well that the Sima family had long planned to replace them. He angrily said, "Sima Zhao's ambition is known to all." Pressured by the Sima family, Cao Mao took a desperate gamble. In 260 AD, he led guards to attack Sima Zhao's residence, but was defeated and killed by Jia Chong, the meritorious descendant mentioned earlier. Cao Mao's death shocked the court. Instantly, Sima Zhao faced immense public pressure. Though Cao Mao was a puppet, he held the emperor's title. In ancient times, regicide was an unforgivable crime. Even Sima's supporters felt this went too far. Moreover, while everyone expected a dynasty change, they wanted it peaceful, like Cao Wei replacing Eastern Han through abdication, not violence. Killing Cao Mao directly violated supporters' wishes. Facing internal crisis, politicians often divert conflict. Sima Zhao was no exception. He decided to conquer Shu Han. Sima Zhao believed destroying Shu Han would boost his authority enough to crush opposition. Thus, Sima Zhao launched the Shu conquest not for unification, but to escape internal crisis. To pave the way for replacing Cao Wei, in 2063 AD, when Wei attacked Shu Han and won initial victories, Sima Zhao eagerly accepted the emperor's appointment. He became Duke of Jin. A year later, with Shu Han fallen, Sima Zhao seized the title King of Jin. He posthumously honored Sima Yi as King Xuan of Jin and Sima Shi as King Jing of Jin, now only one step from emperor. Throughout this, the meritorious faction and aristocratic families overwhelmingly supported Sima Zhao. Consider two representatives, Shun Shu, whose surname shows he came from the Shan clan of Yingchuan. He supported Sima Yi in the Gai Ping tombs incident and later became Sima Zhao's advisor. The other was Yang Hu from the Yang clan of Mount Tai. Oh, Sun Shu and Yang Hu were both key advisors to Sima Zhao, preparing for his imperial ascension. They scoured Confucian classics for rhetoric, arguing Sima Zhao's enthronement aligned with heaven's will and popular sentiment. Simultaneously, they rallied aristocratic families to shape public opinion, repeatedly urging Sima Zhao to ascend the throne early. This reveals the distinct roles played by the meritorious faction and aristocratic families in the Sima clan's power seizure. So, the meritorious faction was the hard power, controlling armies and providing military backing, while aristocratic families were the soft power. They crafted justifications for the dynasty change, represented popular will in supporting Sima, combining both hard and soft power. Sima Zhao's enthronement seemed inevitable, but sadly, he died of illness before that day arrived. Yet, at this stage, an individual's fate couldn't alter the historical tide. After Sima Zhao's death, his eldest son, Sima Yan, succeeded as king of Jin. With Sun Shu and Yang Hu's help, he forced Emperor Yuan of Wei, Cao Huan, to abdicate, toppling the Cao Wei regime. In 265 AD, Sima Yan ascended the throne as Emperor Wu of Jin, heralding the Western Jin Dynasty. Well, that concludes our coverage of political power and family networks in the Wei Jin transition. Find listening notes below the audio. See you tomorrow.